Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Fire Your MD Now radio show. If you're a regular listener, you already know that this is not Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Mike Phillips filling in for him, coming at you live from a cold and wet Camrose, Alberta. There's a number of things in the news that I've been going over today, for material for the show and whatnot, things that are pertinent. And we're going to discuss those. We can take your calls if you have any health issues, you, a friend, a loved one. Now, here's the deal. I'm not going to BS you, okay? I'm not a doctor. I am a longevity distributor, and I'm pretty much eat, sleep, and drink longevity. I watch the webinars. I follow the protocols myself. I follow the 10 bad food list as best as I possibly can. Now, since I've been doing this, I have had a number of health issues, asthma, allergies, just different things that I've been going to doctors for my whole life, and they were cleared up in less than a month on following Dr. Glidden's advice. The call-in number for the show is 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. Now, this morning, I was doing me some reading, and I went to the Huffington Post, and this headline automatically jumps out at me. Giving naturopaths free medical reign is dangerous. Well, if you listen to this show anymore, you know that doctors are pretty dangerous too. You know, MDs are responsible, or, MD-related treatments are responsible for a whole lot of death. Whole lot of suffering, a whole lot of destruction, ruining people's finances. I think the figure was, 18 women a day die, overdose on prescription drugs and painkillers. And being around longevity and doing these conferences with Dr. Glidden speaking, you have people standing up and asking him questions at the end of his talk, and you would be astounded at how many people are all around you that, let's say they had the wrong kidney removed, or, woke up from a medical procedure with a scalpel in their stomach or whatever. So anyways, Michael Cruz, and he's a paramedic and science advocate. I don't know what that means. They have a card or something. Michael Cruz is a science advocate, and he is talking about this Bill 179 in Ontario, province of Ontario. Is the Naturopathy Act. Now, if you go to the Ontario Association of Naturopathic Doctors website, that's OAND.com, you can click to sign a petition to send to the Premier and Deputy Premier of that province in support of naturopathic doctors. Now, I'm going to give you the layman, long and short gist of it. What this is naturopaths want more freedom to be considered a family doctor. They want to be able to prescribe drugs. They don't want to be hampered and shelved and kept out of hospitals. So, there was some changes made a little while ago, right, that gave them a little bit more wiggle room. But see, by banning naturopaths from prescribing drugs that fall under Ontario Health, what they want to do is they want to make vitamins and minerals and essential nutrients, they want to put them under their drug laws so that they can stop people from getting them off the shelf, or, they've got to prescribe them. So that's the fight going on. And, I'm not even going to get into this article too much because it's a bunch of crud. What would the Fire Your MD Now radio show be without Gottfried from Germany calling in? Gottfried, do I got you on the phone?
Yeah, Commander.
This is not Commander. This is not Peter Glidden. This is Mike Phillip. I spoke to you a while back.
Okay, good.
How's Germany?
Yeah, from Germany, exactly.
Yeah. What's on your mind, Gottfried?
Excuse me?
What's on your mind?
About our cat, yeah. He's been crying the night, and recently we sent this cat to the vet, and the vet says the quarantine level is high of the cat. Is there any way to bring the level level down?
A cat?
Yeah.
You know what? I am going to have to defer you to Dr. Wallach on this one. He's a veterinarian. I know that Longevity has got pet food with vitamins and minerals for animals. You can't just give them anything. Certain vitamins and minerals, could be poisonous to certain animals. But I'm not going to counsel you on that. What you can do is call into Dr. Wallach's show, and he will most definitely be able to give you an answer to that. I cannot. How are you doing, Gottfried?
We tried to get hold of him, but I understand he's out of the U.S. at the moment. So this is why we call to speak to Dr. Glidden. But unfortunately, you're holding the fort for him.
Yeah, I'm holding the fort, and I'm a little bit limited in what I can do. I do know a lot of the longevity protocols, right? I know different ways of dealing with different things, but when it comes to a cat, I absolutely am not even going to try and guess. I think that Dr. Peter Glidden is hosting Dr. Wallach's show today. If you want to talk to him on there, you do have that option, Gottfried.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so how are things going personally for you, Gottfried? You've been on the products for a while now.
It's going very well, and with my diabetic, I sometimes have this in a bit high in the morning, 164, lowest 103, and it's going very well.
That's great. Now you're sticking to the 10 bad food list then?
That's right. It's very
excellent
difficult to keep to the 10 bad food.
It is difficult. You know what? I remember when I first started doing this, I remember walking in the grocery store and looking around, and it seemed like, what, am I going to have to live on eggs, bananas, and steak for the rest of my life? Which it wouldn't be totally bad, right? But it just seemed like, avoiding nitrites and gluten, and it's just in everything. But I will tell you this. Since we started following these protocols, my wife has learned how to make all our own pasta, gluten-free, and pizza crust and all that. And actually, I eat better than I ever have before.
Right.
It's great. So I remember when you called in, you had a friend with a child that was in rough shape. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that situation rectified, Gottfried?
Yeah, it's rectified, but the guy is not around at the moment. He's on holiday to know the up-to-date situation on him. So I'm waiting. Probably he'll come back next week, and then I would like to have an update on him.
Well, we can't wait to hear from you again. I listen to the show all the time, so you're almost as familiar to me as Dr. Glidden.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself, Gottfried. I'm sorry I couldn't help you with that question, but I do not know anything about treating animals. I know that I had a friend who had a cat, and it had some breathing problems, and we gave it a little bit of colloidal silver, and that seemed to help. So, yeah, but as far as your question goes, I do not know how to deal with animals.
Okay. I'm very grateful. And take care, okay?
I'm grateful you called.
All right, then. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Take care, Gottfried. All right. Now, we're going to go over to a story here in the Globe and Mail out of Toronto. And, we've got this widely touted medical system in Canada, right? Free health care. Everything's free. Nothing costs nothing. And it's just insane because as anybody with half a brain knows, nothing is free. And if you can be, prodded into doing things with the promise of free stuff, you're probably going to get jerked in the end. Now, here's out of the Globe and Mail. Doctors' salaries are on the rise, but services for patients aren't, report says. Isn't that interesting? The salary of the average Canadian doctor has spiked to nearly 4.5 times that of the average worker. Even though individual doctors aren't providing patients with more services, a new report concludes. On average, Canadian doctors gross $387,000 a year, a salary that has increased by about 30% over the past decade. Now, I just want to stop right there. Okay, now, one of the reasons that we got involved with longevity in the first place, we had an incident that happened with my brother some years back. He got a condition that's known as Bell's palsy. Half of his face went numb. And if you remember, if you're in Canada listening, we had a prime minister with Bell's palsy named Jean Chrétien. And he actually won a election on a pathetic wave of sympathy from Canadian voters because the leader of the opposition said at least we talk out of both sides of our face. Which, you know, maybe they shouldn't have made fun of the guy, but whatever. Anyhow, so my brother goes to this doctor, and they toss a bunch of steroids and whatnot at him. They said, we don't know if this is going to help. You're either going to get better in 2 days or you're going to have this condition for the rest of your life. Well, my brother, he's a kung fu dude, right? He trains to fight, and he does a lot of things. Anyhow, he went to Kung Fu that night, and he was dizzy. He could hardly drive. So he got off the drugs. Well, he ended up going to a naturopath in Spruce Grove, the town outside of Edmonton where he lives. And she told him an interesting story. Now, it turns out this lady was from a fairly well-to-do family, and she was going to be a doctor. It was all paid for. It was ready to go. You know, she got the grades and everything. She went to medical school, and in her internship, she was telling my brother that she would go with this MD that she had to follow around, and he would be going to lunches thrown by pharmaceutical company representatives. And I'm going to finish this story after the break. I hear the music. We will be back after these messages. Welcome back to the Fire Your MD Now radio show, filling in for your regular host, Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Mike Phillip. Call-in number 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. Now, before the break, I was talking about a situation where, you know, that my brother went to a doctor for Bell's palsy. And, you know, through a series of events, they gave him I guess you could call it a treatment, and didn't do anything, but basically made him stoned. And didn't help the Bell's palsy at all. Could have got him in a car accident. And before the break, I said that he had gone to a naturopath. It was actually a chiropractor that referred. He told her the story of what had happened, and she was able to tell him something to take that cleared it up in a day and a half through naturopathic means. Anyhow, the reason for that story and why I was getting into it is because I was just reading from an article in the Globe and Mail out of Toronto, and they are saying that doctors' pay is going up and services are going down. Well, they quote $387,000 a year that your average doctor makes. Now, to the point of the story. She was telling him that when she was in her internship to become a doctor herself, the doctor that she followed around was getting wined and dined by pharmaceutical company reps who, you know, they had a perspective on what this thing does, how much money it's going to make. You know, they're getting free meals, trips to Hawaii, and kickbacks for every person that they got on these drugs. So, to say that they make $387,000 a year on average is probably a really low estimate, because in a lot of cases these kickbacks are exceeding their salary. So interestingly enough, that is the case. What's really been driving physician income has been a really rapid increase in fees, says Hugh Grant, an economist at the University of Winnipeg, who co-authored the report published by the University of Calgary School of Public Policy. Fees have gone up a lot, and services per person haven't. They've been virtually unchanged. The research comes as Canada's provinces face mounting pressure to curtail growing healthcare costs, and an aging population leans more heavily on the system. Each province has its own negotiations between its physicians, who provide medical services, in the government, which foots the bill. Yeah, the government foots the bill. Where do they get the money? Professor Grant said in the last decade, doctors have succeeded in winning that public debate, driving up salaries. Well, of course they did. On one hand, the physician organization is saying the government is underfunding the system when we need more money to improve your health, Professor Grant said, whereas the government's sitting there saying costs are running out of line, appealing to taxpayers by saying there's only so much we can afford. So, it's the same thing where I live in Alberta. I'm just outside of the city of Edmonton, and taxes are going up on everything, but services are going down. They recently told us here that we can only have 2 bags of garbage picked up per week, and that over time that'll be just 1. Well, what family of 4 can get by with only 1 bag of garbage going out per week? It doesn't happen. It's unrealistic. So now we're going to switch over to an article by Dave Mihalovic. And he lists out 12 medical tests and procedures being questioned worldwide as unnecessary and potentially cause sometimes harmful results to patients. Since the campaign was launched last year, more than 130 tests and procedures have been called into question by 25 medical specialty societies with more than 500,000 member doctors. Millions of Americans are increasingly realizing that when it comes to health care, more is not necessarily better, says Dr. Christine Castle, president of the ABIM Foundation. Through these lists of tests and procedures, we hope to encourage conversations between physicians and patients about what care they truly need. Now, if you remember, we were just talking about, in Canada, there's this discrepancy between fees and procedures going down, fees going up, doctors' pay going up, and they're looking for ways to cut corners, and they're looking for ways to scale back on their budget because, well, let's face it, the country is going broke. People don't have the money to spend, and they are taxed out the yin-yang. Now, if we could get rid of some of these procedures that are unnecessary, that would be a huge alleviation of pressure on the taxpayer. We're back. We had some minor technical difficulties. Stephanie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Good. I'm glad you bore with me on that. You know how technology is. Before I lost you there, I was asking, how much does your mother weigh?
Well, right now she's very, very thin. She used to be over about 230. Now she's about 130 or something like that. All
right. Now, yeah, hospitals and infections, they just go hand in hand, don't they? My dad actually had some surgery on his leg due to a car accident a few years back, and he still battles infections to this day down in Tennessee there. What we want to do is we want to nutritionalize your mom as much as possible, and to do that, we need to get her on the Mighty 90. Now, are you familiar with longevity at all, Stephanie, or is this your first time listening in?
This is my first time listening in.
Okay. Great. This is what I want you to do, Stephanie. I want you to go to drpeterglidden.com. Okay? Do you have a computer, Stephanie?
Yes, I do. What is it, Dr.
peterglidden.com. You can do this after we're done with this call. But if you register, send in an email on that, they will send you one back with a 10 bad food list. Okay? There are 10 foods that inhibit your body's ability to process and use nutrients, vitamins, and amino and fatty acids. Now, once we get your mom eating the correct foods, or stay away from the bad ones, let's put it that way, then that is going to pave the way for her to be able to absorb and use what her body needs in order to fight these infections, okay? So I want you to get that 10 bad food list. Now, number 2, we're going to get your mom on what is known as a Healthy Start Pack, okay? And how you take a Healthy Start Pack is 1 per 100 pounds body weight. Now, you might want to get 2 of them. They're not very expensive. And what that contains in that Healthy Start Pack is a can of a product called OsteoFX. There's another one called Tangy Tangerine, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, 2.0, and a bottle of pills that are amino and fatty acids. Now, once you do this, your mother is going to have more energy, she's going to sleep better, and her body's going to start fighting these infections. Now, another thing I'd like you to do, Youngevity has a natural antibiotic, colloidal silver. All right? Now, silver is a natural antibiotic. What it does is it zaps bacteria. All right?
Okay.
And so if we can get your mom on that 10 bad food list and, off those foods and taking 1.5 Healthy Start Packs per month with the colloidal silver, her body will fight back. And, this is the kind of thing where the naturopathic view, your body has all the systems it needs to deal with just about anything, but it needs the materials to work with. You have got to find a way to get 90 essential minerals, vitamins, and amino and fatty acids every day. And once you do that, you just get out of the way and your body will heal itself. I don't heal you. Dr. Glidden does not heal you. You do. And your body is smarter than any doctor out there. And it's the same case with your mother as well. So if you're going to get this stuff for your mom, you might want to consider getting on it yourself. How are you, Stephanie? Are you healthy?
Yes, I am. I have no problems. I'm 50 years old. I've never been in the hospital. I don't get sick at all. And I do take supplements. I take amino acids. I take a lot of different things, vitamin D3, different things, whole food supplements. And I just take them in that fashion where the vitamins are already there, amino acids, cofactors, and everything like that. But, however, my mother, she's on a feeding tube, and she's been on a liquid diet for the past month. So she has to have all liquid. Is there anything that's liquefied that I can buy her and I can bring up to her?
Well, the supplements, the products are actually, except for the amino and fatty acids, you dilute them in water, right?
Okay.
So, Dr. Glidden would probably have a few tricks up his sleeve to deal with this. The colloidal silver is in a liquid form, but I'm pretty sure she would be able to take the Tangy and the Osteo. There would be a substitute for the amino and fatty acids. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what that would be. You could even just break them open and empty the amino and fatty acids into her drink, right? Like, she's got a feeding tube. Can she drink orally?
Yes, she can do orally, but the problem is she's on dialysis and she's limited to the amount of fluid she can take a day, and she's one of those that, she doesn't eat a lot, so she'll get tired of eating quickly. So, if I can get a cup of something that has, everything in it and give it to her every day, I have to still force it on her more or less. But if I could do that, that would be fine.
You know what? You're talking to the right guy because, you can bring her a cup of this stuff every day, and she can drink it slowly over the day, taking, just a sip an hour or whatever to maximize her absorption. And yeah, if you'll stick to that 10 bad food list. Now here's the other thing, Stephanie, okay? Longevity is set up to not only restore your health, but it's also set up to restore your finances. Now, Dr. Wallach got sued by medical associations all over the United States. He took the FDA to court 7 times out of his own pocket and beat them just for the right to be able to say that these vitamins work, right? Now, if you get in with Longevity, go and sign up with Longevity yourself, okay? It costs you $10. For every person that you get on it, they're going to pay you. Now, I haven't paid for, and let me just say this. You sound like a really sharp lady. You sound smart. You sound like you got lots of energy. You're probably shadow boxing right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, now with me, when I started out with the Longevity, I did this because of my wife. She was in debilitating pain all the time. And doctors just could not deal with it for like 12 years. Nothing worked. Well, we got doing these protocols through Longevity and Dr. Wallach's research, and we have had just tremendous success. But now here's the other exciting thing about that. After about 3 months, I was able to help friends and family feel better, get over some health issues. But after 3 months, all my own stuff is paid for. I haven't paid for vitamins in 1.5 years, Stephanie. How would you like that?
Yeah, well, my mother's insurance is like that. She got good insurance, you know.
She got good insurance? Well, this would be outside of the insurance. This would be the Longevity paying you to steer your friends and family in the right direction. Okay. And not only that, Stephanie, but funny thing about vitamins and supplements, now you sound like you're getting really good results. You know, you're 50 years old and you're pretty spry. Your mind is obviously intact. But if you want to go a step further, here's another case for switching to Longevity. Bioavailability. All right. Dr. Wallach has researched this out over the last 40 years or so. And he has figured out the best way for you to absorb these vitamins, to make them available to you in a form that your body can use. So, you know, if you're already buying these supplements, I would suggest to you to just give it a shot. And if you don't like it, there's even a money-back guarantee. So, I mean, you can't lose, Stephanie. Stephanie, go to drpeterglidden.com or longevity.com. Check out the business opportunity. Get your mom on the products. And we will be back after these messages. Welcome back to the Fire Your MD Now radio show. This is Mike Phillip filling in for your regular host, Dr. Peter Glidden. If you want to talk to me about anything at all, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. Before the break, we were talking to Stephanie, 50 years old, in New York, supplementing it her whole life, never sick, never going to the doctor. Isn't that exciting? I mean, we've got overburdened healthcare systems in Canada and the United States, all over Europe. We keep hearing about how there's no money to do anything, and they're running out fast. And, you know, it's just funny because we could eliminate probably half the people that are filling these waiting rooms, not eliminate them, but eliminate the wait times in the waiting rooms of these hospitals and doctors' offices, just by taking care of ourselves at home and knowing what to do. And that's the great thing about Longevity, is that you have access to all of Dr. Wallach's research, all of his great protocols that he's developed over the years, and I have seen miraculous recoveries. Now, I want to give you another example of how ridiculous things are getting. I saw a story just the other day here. There's this little girl, 3 years old, in St. Albert, which is a suburb of the city of Edmonton. All right? This little girl has an enzyme deficiency. All right? And I'm going to read you a little bit of this story. The family of a 3-year-old Alberta girl learned Monday she will receive a potentially life-saving drug for a disease that is causing cellular waste to build up in her joints and around her heart. The province announced it will fund enzyme replacement therapy for Alina Sadonic of St. Albert, just outside Edmonton. It's very emotional, Alina's father, Dane Sadonic, said in an interview. The first thing I did was pick up my daughter and give her a huge hug. It's been a challenging and tough road. A panel of medical experts with Alberta Health Services made the decision to fund the drug Naglazyme. Okay? She has a lack of enzymes, but we're going to buy her drug. Okay, now I'm not against helping little girls, okay? I mean, if they're sick, you need to help them, but what's the most cost-effective, best way to do it? Health Minister Fred Horn did not intervene in the decision, saying it needed to be made for medical reasons alone, but agreed it was a good day for the Sadonic family. Obviously, for the family, it's a positive outcome, said Horn. And here's the thing, too. If you're a man and your 3-year-old daughter is sick, you will do anything to help her. These decisions are difficult, and we face more and more of them all the time in Canada as we have more drugs becoming available to treat rare diseases. Now, here's the hook. Listen to this. The drug costs $300,000 or more per year for children. Because the dosage is tied to weight, it can rise to $1 million a year for adults. Those on it are on it for life, as the drug does not cure the illness, but simply stops it from worsening. Okay, so $300,000, right? And see, now, people are going to hold this up and say, look, the system works, right? You know, we all pull together, we pay our taxes, and it goes to Alberta Health, and we can afford to all come together and give this little girl a $300,000 a year drug, okay? And save her life. So that seems worth it right there, doesn't it? Well, how about a $30 bottle of enzymes? How about a $25 bottle of gut flora? We got them, okay? And that's not a drug. This little girl is not suffering from a drug deficiency. She's suffering from an enzyme deficiency. Ridiculous. I hear the music. We're coming up on a hard break. I'll be back at the top of the next hour.